Hello everyone and welcome to Martin's Home and Gardens Houseplant of the Week. This week we're going to be talking about a plant that we don't get in very often, and we just got a shipment of all of them in, so we're pretty excited about them. They're pretty unusual, and our houseplant of the week this week is coral cactus. This plant's Latin name is actually Euphorbia lactea. What we can learn from that is that this plant is actually not a true cactus, it is just a succulent. It's actually two different types of succulents grafted together to create like a stunning coral looking plant. So if you take a look up close, you can see that there's actually a V right here where they grafted the plant, and then they took this one and made a V with the bottom of it and put them together, and they fused, and now they're one plant. It just creates this amazing look that looks just like coral. So if you're trying to add something a little bit different, a little whimsical, kind of have a tropical feel in your plant collection, these are a great option for you. They are slightly drought tolerant, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So if you're the plant parent that can be kind of sporadic with watering, that is okay, because these plants will probably be for you. As far as sunshine goes, I would recommend giving this plant as much sunlight as you can indoor. It's going to need around 6 hours of sunlight on a brightly lit south-facing window. This plant is pretty good when it comes to being outside. Now, it's not hardy here, but you could put it outside during the summertime whenever you want to kind of like boost growth. However, if you're going to keep it outside, I wouldn't put it in direct light. I would probably put it into partial light because it doesn't tend to like that, and it might burn the plant a little bit. If you do have it inside and you're giving it lots of sunshine, make sure that you turn it around every now and then. Just rotate it to ensure that each part of the plant is getting an adequate amount of sunlight. They're pretty top heavy, so you don't want it to grow kind of wonky and then it'll really tip over. So going back to the watering scenario, what I would do with this plant, they are a little bit different than other succulents, as where they like a lot of water in sporadic time intervals. So they're going to want you to fully drench the plant, toss out excess water whenever it's dry. So they like a lot of water in long periods. So they're not going to want to sit in that water, but they do like a lot. So I would soak your plant, let it sit for a little bit, and then dump out any remaining water in the pot. They are a little bit prone to root rot, so making sure that your plant isn't just sitting in water is really important. Making sure you've got a nice, well-drained soil. Cactus and succulent mix by Espoma is an awesome option for that. And then also making sure that you do dump out excess water. With these plants, they like a temperature of around 65 to 80 degrees, which makes our homes ideal for their habitat. They also don't need a lot of humidity because they are a cactus / succulent, so your house is going to be perfect for them. As for pests and diseases that these are prone to, they're not really prone to very many diseases at all. They are prone to root rot and powdery mildew, but powdery mildew should not happen as long as you are taking care of your plant in the proper way. The only way that powdery mildew would happen would be if it's dark, cold, and wet. So, not cold, but not hot, basically. So this probably won't happen as long as you're not completely doing the opposite of everything I talk about in the video. The only pests that this is really susceptible to are mealybugs, scale, and spider mites. What I would probably do if I were to get any of those three plants is definitely quarantine your plant up, keep it away from everything else, especially if you're someone that collects succulents or cactus. Mealybugs love to attack them. So making sure that you cut that off really quickly is pretty important. I would also recommend using a systemic insecticide on most of them just to be safe, because the easiest way to prevent them is to control it. And if you go ahead and make sure that it's got its medicine all in the plant, then the bug can't live on it. So making sure that you do something like that is important. If you do get scale or mealybugs or spider mites, make sure that you rinse off the plant, get all of the bugs off. If you have scale, definitely take a Q-tip and alcohol. Same with mealybugs, and make sure that you remove each one by hand, especially if it's something this size. Now, if it's a large fiddle, I would say cut your losses on that and just spray it with something pretty harsh. But these are awesome for the fact that they're pretty small, and if you do get a problem on them, it's pretty easy to remediate that. You can use neem oil as well, especially when it's in your house. Neem oil is an awesome option. Jumping back to the fact that this is a euphorbia, all euphorbias are toxic to animals and humans. Whenever the plant breaks, it emits this little white sap that if you get it on your skin, it's sticky, one, and two, it'll give you like a little bit of a rash. So make sure that you don't do that and you don't let your animals nibble on it. But other than that, these plants are pretty awesome. They are a wonderful addition to any kind of succulent collection because they are so different. You can propagate them, like you could cut off a piece of this and graft it onto something else. If you wanted to, I would check out a video on that because it does emit the sap, and making sure you do it right is pretty important. But yeah, these plants are super awesome. We don't carry them very often, and we have a bunch right now. So come in, check them out, and ask us some questions about coral cactus. Everyone have a good week.